What is going on, all my friends from over on the other side of the pond? Today, we are going to be checking out some of the best museums that Europe has to offer. I had a blast checking out architecture, and I do have a part 2 for that coming because there was just so much, and you guys gave me a ton of recommendations, as well as museums. So we are doing this, probably like a top 10 of the more popular museums coming out of Europe. So if I miss one, don't get mad. We can hit it in a part 2. Nonetheless, I've been to a couple of museums in my life. The Natural History Museum in New York, a couple of them in LA. We have a pretty nice one here in Nashville called the Frisch Art Museum, but I can only imagine what your guys' looks like. All right, enough messing around. Let's just dive straight in.
Going to the Louvre just to see the Mona Lisa? Well, you're doing it wrong, and let me show you why.
Yes, it's worth seeing, but it's a tiny painting that's usually surrounded by crowds, so here are some other incredible art pieces you shouldn't miss. First, Napoleon's apartment. The fancy decor wasn't just for looks. These rooms were basically a 19th century flex, showing off how Napoleon III wanted people to see him and to reflect the power of the French Empire. Spoiler, it worked. Next, the sarcophagus of Ramses III. And he wasn't just one of ancient Egypt's most important pharaoh. He was like Egypt's ultimate bodyguards, protecting the empire from invaders. The carvings on his sarcophagus tell stories of his victories and beliefs. Finally, the winged victory of Samothrace. This sculpture is more than 2,000 years old and celebrates an ancient Greek naval victory. It was placed on a ship's prow, which is why it looks so dynamic and looks like it's about to fly. And honestly, I'm not usually into this type of classic static art, but I ended up spending way more time here than I thought I would, especially in Napoleon's apartment. If it's your first time in Paris, make sure to grab our free Paris trip checklist. It's your go-to guide for everything you need to sort.
All right, cool. Got a guide here. Maybe I'll check that out. I haven't seen a lot of these. I'm going to be completely honest. If I'm going to the Louvre, right? That's how you pronounce it, right? The Louvre. If I'm going there, I'm going to see the Mona Lisa. I mean, if I have to wait like in a crowd and wait a long time, that's fine. You know, I gotta at least see it. I just wanted to see her. Yeah, dude, this is really, really cool. I like how the head is like straight cut off. And the angel wings are like kind of moving back. That's so badass. This is behind the Mona Lisa. Oh, wow. That's behind the Mona Lisa? You're right, it is much bigger. The French accent. Napoleon's is closed on some days. Guess how I found out? Probably going there and figuring out that it was closed. No one talks about this part of the Louvre. Oh, wow. God, can you imagine having dinner there? Nobody talks about it? I think she just talked about it in the last video. Are these the same apartments or quarters? The Napoleon apartments look really cool. I wonder how much it costs to actually have a dinner there. Let's see. The only thing I thought about it was from who was that gold stolen in the past? Yeah, I mean, how else do you think these countries like rule everyone and build all this massive stuff? I'm afraid I was lost the entire time we were in there. Okay. Is it that big on the inside? I guess I've never seen any of these images from the inside. I've only ever seen an image from the outside. Everyone here for her. Yeah, I don't know why this is. Oh, especially look at this view of it sitting up at the very top as you're walking up the stairs. That's pretty badass. Even more beautiful in real life, the wing victory of Samothrace. My absolute favorite picture of her. Let's see it. What'd they take? Yeah, that's pretty cool. It would be much cooler if the people weren't there. Photoshop. You can take them out very easily. I love winged victory. She is so great that she stands there alone without other exhibitions around. Yeah, they are kind of like prominently displaying her. You know what I noticed though? There's not like a ton of security around it. I'm afraid one of those like oil people are going to come up and throw something on this. Straight to jail. Probably not though. Stepping into an almost intact historical setting. That chandelier. Oh my gosh. Trying to make out what's on that ceiling. the painting. I love like the statues too. Are these supposed to be angels? That's pretty sick. Absolutely insane painting. This thing is massive. Now they just like take paint and just like throw it against a like whiteboard or like spin it and then call it art. Or like, this is art. This is massive. Holy cow. When art was really art. Yeah, like I just said. The Coronation of Napoleon painting. You know that he was like, you guys got to get a painting of this event. The Galleria de Apollon was one of the most breathtaking rooms in the Louvre. Oh, wow. This one looks different than the these aren't the apartments. Look at that shit. Oh, my God. It's almost too much. That's nuts. Stolen items from the Louvre Museum. Okay, I did hear about this. Kind of what also made me want to kind of like hit this topic. I think it was just in the back of my head. So the Louvre had these items stolen and we get to see which ones were. So Marie Louise, guys, I can't. These. All right, so Napoleon's wife's emerald set. Large Bodice bow of Empress Eugenia. This one fell out, right? The crown. I think they dropped this one in like the street or in the alleyway or something. Sapphire set of Queen Marie Amalia. Is this what they looked like? They were just sitting there? Is that how they got them so easily? I know it was Lupin. I just can't prove it. All South African diamonds. Okay. For sale. I can't believe somebody posted that. That's hilarious. Wait, they're so pretty. Oh my gosh. Now, how in the hell did they manage to take all of this? Probably a bag? Whoa. Is that a whale? This reminds me of the natural history in New York, obviously. I think theirs is like a T-Rex in the middle of it. I can't remember. This has got to be some type of like prehistoric whale or something. Or maybe a modern whale. I have no idea. Biggest flex is I've been there. London's museums are the best. We'll be the judge of that.
That's not possible. Ancient ruins in the same time as...
They put the Harry Potter music over it. When you're looking at it right here, this does look so Harry Potter. And I mean, it looks English.
In the same time as divination. You have to be in two classes at once.
Don't be silly, Ronald. How could anyone be in two classes at once?
I solemnly swear.
Is there more to it than this like main room? Obviously, it's massive. Jeez. What happened to architecture? I wish we still built like this. Yeah, me too. I think everyone does. Maybe we should just start doing it. Let's just start building stuff like this again. Literally looks like Hogwarts. I think that's why they put the music over it. That is the museum. Museum is museuming. What? Are you at the Gotham Museum? No, it's the Natural History Museum of London.
We now have the
New immersive
opportunity
experience.
to create the perfect home for ourselves and restore
whoa.
the rich, healthy, and wonderful world that we inherited.
That's pretty cool.
Just imagine that.
It's more of like an experience. This doesn't seem like a traditional museum, the natural history one. It kind of reminds me of like a science center that we go to occasionally. You know, not necessarily like old art, but just, I mean, they got the prehistoric dinosaurs. This is probably fake though. They wouldn't have that outside like that. Don't miss this brand new immersive experience in London. Step inside the story of Earth from the Big Bang to today with the voice of Sir David Attenborough, guiding every breathtaking moment. Okay, here's another angle of it. It's massive, though. Here we go. This is what I want to see. Okay, that's pretty cool. That's got to be real. I would just feel like these can't be right. These are replicas. They wouldn't hang the actual bones all the way up there in the air.
night discloses.
My daughter would love this. I might have to hit this place. I'll see her someday. We will meet. What does that mean? Is that the song? I'm so mad I skipped this on my first trip to London. I'm definitely going this November. Someone says so fun. All right. Yeah, this seems like a place I would probably take the kids. What was this building before? This had to have been something like before it was a museum. They did not build this to be a museum. Was it a church? I thought this was Hogwarts at first. Okay, so it's not just me that's getting the Hogwarts vibes. This museum is my literal dream. Spend an afternoon getting lost in the Vatican Museum. Look at that staircase. Well, at the pine cone. If you know, you know. That's a pretty cool view. Look at that ceiling. Oh my God, it's so long. They say it's pretty insane the amount of things the Vatican owns. Expect sensory overload while also seeing some of the most beautiful things ever made. I know that painting. I've seen this before. Actually, I know what it means. This staircase, though, I am absolutely in love with this. Out of everything I've seen so far, the staircase is the coolest thing. I'm kidding. Simply amazing. Sign me up. You know what's hilarious is that I always knew the Vatican, like where it was and who's inside of it. I didn't know that there was a museum like attached to the Vatican. I had no idea. Actual size of St. Peter's Basilica. Holy cow. That light shining through. The aura is crazy. Look at the freaking doorway. You know why they had these? They have these massive doors. Giants, 100% giants. All right, we must humble ourselves before God and no man. I have no intention to visit as well, but now I am counting days to visit Vatican City this autumn. I think she messed up on her typing there. It's been 2 years and I still think about it daily. Really? Is it that cool? The Vatican Museum.
This is one of the most famous paintings in the entire Vatican Museum. It is the School of Athens by Raphael. It depicts the dream team of philosophers and scientists, basically the Avengers Endgame of the Renaissance. On this side, we have Plato in red, who's pointing his hand towards the sky, meaning that he liked to look beyond. Right next to him is his pupil, Aristotle, with his hand pointing down to the ground, meaning that he was very measured and very grounded. Thus, they're divided on each side according to those two schools of philosophy. Here we have Pythagoras, the founder of trigonometry.
Pythagoras?
Here we have an ancient Greek philosopher, but he's done in the likeness of Raphael's mentor and hero, Michelangelo.
Huh.
Over here we have the man who's probably the most grounded of them all because he liked to sleep on the ground, Diogenes, the founder of cynicism. However, in terms of mathematics, Euclides is the one who grounded and measured mathematics, made it easier to make sense of and tangible. Over
That's crazy that this guy knows this much about this painting.
here we have a few ancient astronomers, including Zoroaster. Xerxes himself, who defeated the Athenians and the Spartans, was a follower of
Wait, where's Xerxes at? Is that him right there?
Zoroaster. But here
Doesn't
we have a
look like
man who's
anything from the
looking directly
movie.
into our eyes. Just like Stan Lee did cameos in Avengers, Raphael, made a cameo in this painting.
How funny. That is so cool. All right, this is a little long. We're gonna I want to see the other museums. I don't get stuck on one painting. That's crazy. This guy knows this much. Holy cow! It makes it even cooler knowing he was a turtle. Aristotle was based. Okay, go to my YouTube. Urbanists exploring cities for a longer tour of the Vatican Museum. All right, we might have to check that out. Let me see. Can I hearted it. I'll remember. Maybe we might check out his video.
To share with you things that I wish I knew before visiting the Vatican. This right here is St. Peter's Basilica. It is free to enter unless you pay for a guided tour, and I highly recommend to get here early because as you can tell, the lines can get very, very long. We went on a day like this and we stood out in the sun for about an hour and a half. Now the good news is that it's absolutely worth it because this is one of the most stunning buildings I have ever seen. There's art and history all over this place, so really not a bad idea to get a guide. There is a dress code tent in the Vatican where you're supposed to be covering up your shoulders and your knees. And even though they weren't super strict with it when we went, I still highly recommend to bring something to cover up with. Two things I would look into doing is the Scavi tour, which is the underground tour, and the second thing is to take the stairs or the elevator up to this dome, which is designed by Michelangelo, who also made this sculpture that you also can find in St. Peter's Basilica. That was just one part of the Vatican. The other entrance is to the Vatican Museums, which is where you can find the Sistine Chapel. This entrance is not free, and I've heard the lines can also get very long here, but we bought a skip the line ticket and we didn't have to wait at all. My pro tip for you is to get an early access tour of the Vatican Museums and St. Peter's Basilica. That way you'll be there 90 minutes before the place actually opens to the public. And on top of that, the guided tour takes you from the Vatican Museums into St. Peter's Basilica, so you don't have to stand in line twice.
Good little tips. Has anyone been here before to the Vatican Museum? Let me know in the comments. Is it worth it? Should I go check it out? I don't know. There are so many museums. I'm having like serious problems trying to figure out how to plan my damn trips because there's so much stuff that I want to see. I'm gonna have to just come there for like a month. Also, they set up the Sistine Chapel to be the last thing you see and no pictures are allowed. Really? Dude. Holy cow. Is this Genesis? Looks like it. This music is totally gonna get me flagged. This is bonkers. I don't know if it is just feeling bigger because of the like lens that they're using, but this is insane. I'm almost positive this is Genesis. And he painted these upside down even though he was a sculptor. Insane. Greatest Michelangelo. Imagine walking in there knowing this is the exact spot Michelangelo was in, the same air almost, and to see his creation with visible artwork in full rotation like a signature from a celebrity. Yeah, a slice of heaven on earth. It would probably feel a little surreal to be in there, honestly. This is like that hallway that they were showing. It looks lit differently. I didn't see this in any other video. Look at that. Oh, they're getting like a behind the scenes tour. Okay, we just saw this. So crazy. Oh my gosh. Someone said, how do I get this job? You don't. You don't get that job. I won't go to that boring. I'm assuming it says museum with you. The boring museum. I love how this one is lit. Would you guys agree? Like how it's so dark? I don't know if it's a setting that she has, but on her phone, but it makes it feel way more moody and like inviting. I don't like anything well lit, so that's pretty cool though. I haven't been to a museum in so long. I need to go. Yeah, you and me both. I haven't been to one in probably a decade. There's no such thing called a boring museum. I visited Turkey and they have the most beautiful and interesting museums as well. Someone says, how did you record? Last week I recorded. They screamed at me 2 times. I was so embarrassed. It was so crowded. I don't understand the like not wanting you to record thing though. Is it like because they want people to come? They don't want people to be able to see it online. This will in fact be my Roman Empire till the day I die. That's actually really pretty. I look at the title, it says no because how do you make marble look transparent? They did do that, huh? Look at that. It does feel like she has like a real sheet over her face. That's some insane artwork right there. Holy cow. How art has diminished from this level of mastery, it was simply divine. Someone says AI could never. Yeah. No. I mean, they can't make stuff in real life, but even just designing it. The fact that this can't be redone today baffles me. Jeez. This is beautiful. I actually really like this.
Go to the world-famous Museo del Prado or the Prado Museum for free. This trick will save you around 15 euros every day from 6 to 8 p.m. The last 2 hours of the museum being open. They have free entry, except on Sundays. It's 5 to 7 p.m. since the museum closes a bit earlier. The line for the free ticket starts around 5. I got there a little after 5 p.m. and I believe I was number 40 in line. Just pick a shady spot to sit and wait in line. I watched TV while waiting. Around 5:55 p.m., museum staff brought us to the ticket box office, and at 6 p.m., we were ushered to the ticket office and given a ticket. Even though it's free,
that's pretty cool.
You still need a ticket and it will be scanned upon entry. After scanning your ticket, you will go through a quick and easy security, and then you are off. As soon as you enter, I advise you grab a free map. The museum is confusing, and it's easy to find the pieces you want with the map. So apparently there are no videos or
Looks a
photos
lot brighter
in the
in this
whole
one.
museum. I did not know this at first, though, so I grabbed a few videos of the famous Garden of the Earthly Delights by Hieronymus Bosch, created in the 15th century. It was gorgeous. After filming, I was asked to put my phone away. Just for content purposes, I did video my feet once.
Okay, well, we don't want to watch your feet. A nice little trick to be able to get in there. I mean, 15 euros, you're going to have to time it to get there at 5, but nonetheless, I guess if I was in the area, you could always just pop in there. It took us more than 6 hours to see everything, but it's worth it. All right, so getting 2 hours is probably not going to be able to get it done.
So I feel very lucky. I got to spend the night in the museum at Museo del Prado, and I got to see
spend the night
by Hieronymus Bosch. Unreal. You got to come see it.
Does this say Dua Lipa? Is that who this girl is? I don't know what Dua Lipa looks like. I don't know what a Dua Lipa is. Kidding. That's cool. I'm going to say I'm a huge fan of the sculptures over the art. Not saying I don't like both, but the sculptures are just so cool. Like, look at that sculpture right there. Like, how much talent does that freaking take to make that? Oh my gosh.
This is the largest museum in the world in terms of number of exhibits, and almost the largest in its area. It will take 8 years to thoughtfully walk around all the halls of the museum and get to know all art objects, because there are over 1,000 rooms and 1,700 doors. But the collection
1,000 rooms?
Contains about 3 million work of arts and cultural monuments from all around the world. I'm not even talking about the museum itself. Everything is a piece of art. The museum is called Hermitage and is located in St. Petersburg, Russia.
St. Petersburg, Russia. All right. It's the biggest museum in the world. I had no idea. Somebody says, something to see before I die. Beautiful place. Shame that West sees Russia as an enemy, a country with very rich and diverse culture and traditions. Russia deserves full respect and sympathy. Love from Serbia. All right. Well, they're putting their message out there. Everyone's saying Russia is great. Love from Russia. That's nice. St. Petersburg is in Europe, so what else they got? I'm not going to lie. It looks pretty crazy. Look at this room. What the hell? I love the blue and gold next to each other. The first pick suddenly feel like the angel holds something in hand like this. Oh, like the scales? I'd feel so out of place. Why? Someone says $45. I manifest money abundance. Okay, you're in the wrong chat thread. Are these all Russian leaders? No. That's a crazy room. So much gold. Oh, wow. The outdoor garden looks nice. I love the outside of this building as well. Hey, no hate on Russia. This museum looks absolutely amazing. Remember that billionaires and government today live within the modern equivalent of these. So if you're mad about Romanovs living like this while Russians starve, remember the elected officials and celebrities that go to space for funsies while hundreds still starve. Everyone's got to get political on every post. Every single one. I'm trying to have fun right now.
You know that the Hermitage Museum in St. Petersburg, Russia is home to over 70 cats? Cats have been common at the museum since the 18th century, but these days it's getting a bit out of hand. In fact, you can even adopt one of these cats today. Hermitage even hosts a yearly Cat Fest, a festival where you can draw portraits of these cats, as well as join a scavenger hunt to find one of the many cats at the Hermitage Museum. Officially, their job is to protect the museum from the rodent population. Have you seen one of the Hermitage cats before?
That's a fun little fact. I actually kind of like that. They have cats there to eat all the rodents. I want to go so bad. Petting all the cats, giving them treats is a side quest, isn't it? Yeah, I'm sure it is.
In Amsterdam, the Rijksmuseum is something you should add to your to-do list. It's the National Museum of the Netherlands and it's absolutely massive. It cost us €22.50 for a ticket, and we also had to book a time slot for entrance. It's home to, of course, the very famous Night Watch by Rembrandt, and has over 1 million objects and is dedicated to arts, crafts, and history from the years 1200 to 2000. When you're in Amsterdam...
Damn, that's insane. The little girl inside me was so happy when I went to the... How does she pronounce it?
Amsterdam, the Rijksmuseum is something you should add to your to-do list.
Hold on.
When you're in Amsterdam, the Rijksmuseum is something...
Rijksmuseum? Rijks. So the J is silent. I know the J is silent in a lot of stuff. Anyway, place looks pretty cool. In Amsterdam, huh? Oh, dang. Got a whole different feel for this museum. This is... What in the world is this? It looks like this thing wants to, like, come down right now. That is cool. That's pretty cool. I'm such a geek, you guys. What are those? Like little light chandeliers that drop down? Library. Massive. What is it? 4 stories? 3 stories? All right. Some advice before you visit. 1, download the Rijksmuseum app and decide... I'm not going to go through all those. We found the library but couldn't enter unless we are the researchers or SMTH or something like that. I lost my wallet at Rijksmuseum, panicked, and went to the information desk. Someone had returned it with everything intact. That tells you that there's good people there. I don't think that, really bad people are going to museums for fun, that like steal stuff. Except unless they're going to the Louvre. Am I right or am I right? Tomorrow, go. All right. Oh, they commented on it. The Netherlands once conquered the seas with ships like these at the Rijksmuseum. They have so many of them. Trying to see how many they have back there. This room is so dark too. It's hard to tell like the scale of it. That's pretty cool. At the Rijksmuseum in Amsterdam, you can step into centuries of Dutch history, from the masterpieces of Rembrandt and Vermeer to the grand model ships that once ruled the world's oceans. Someone says, it's true, people were smaller back then. And ruled England. Incredible to think these sailed in stormy seas of the Atlantic. Yeah, I know, right? They were bigger back then. Okay, everyone. Most underrated museum in Europe. Look at that painting. Wow. Okay, one of the most famous museums in Europe is underrated. Okay, yeah, I know, right? I pulled up a list of the top 10 museums, and these were one of them, so I don't think it's too underrated. Oh, here's those lights. That's pretty cool. Senza fine, tu trascini la nostra vita. What a fun little thing to add into the museum. Spent the evening. Where's Venus? Those like minotaurs? Not minotaur. What's it called? When a human and an animal? Maybe a minotaur. How do you pronounce this too? The Uffizi galleries? That's pretty cool. Can anyone just walk here? I can see the checkerboard floors. Can anyone just walk up like right here? It just makes me so nervous. I've seen like viral clips of art getting destroyed when I see stuff like this. This has got to have some type of cover over it. Firenze has our heart. Oh my gosh, beautiful, unreal. I'm not going to be able to go to all these museums.
Let's visit one of the most famous museums in the world, home to works by Botticelli, Caravaggio, and Michelangelo. This is the Uffizi Gallery in Florence, Italy. Starting strong, we got the Dukes of Urbino. This museum holds 9 of Botticelli's artworks. Of course, this one is Primavera. Absolutely beautiful and massive in scale. Then, of course, they had the Birth of Venus, which you just have to see.
Yep.
Now, I'm a huge Caravaggio fan, so I was following the signs everywhere to try to find his work. It was like going through a maze. But I finally found Medusa, and it was just absolutely beautiful. And then I also got to see Bacchus. I don't even know how to say that. I couldn't even get a video. I was so overwhelmed. I actually teared up a little bit. Then we saw this beautiful David and Goliath by Guido Reni. Then we got to see one of Michelangelo's unfinished paintings and this musician.
An unfinished one?
There were these really cool painted ceilings everywhere. And then we headed to this room, which had about 100 different Annunciation and Virgin and Child paintings. A lot of gold, pre-Renaissance. So these are a lot of tempera and oil paintings. Really cool, just not my personal style. And then I saw this painting and I was like, why does this guy look super familiar? And it's because he's the same cut as my friend. Then there was this room that was closed off. It was a bunch of sculptures and paintings in there.
That room looks pretty cool. Why does this guy look familiar? That was cute. Great tour, thank you. The unfinished painting is Da Vinci, not Michelangelo. I'm pretty sure she said Da Vinci, didn't she? I thought she said it was... Yeah. Where is the Last Supper painting? Is it there? Is this where it's at? I don't know. I've definitely noticed that at least from what we've seen inside the museums of what they can record, I know we're not seeing the entire thing. The theme is much different for each one. Obviously, the art is different, but I don't know. It's just got like a different, each one has this like crazy different feel to it. Exploring a perfect blend of modern and ancient. Oh, what? Because like the building is like super modern, but they have all the ancient sculptures in there. That's pretty cool. That's crazy that they're just like out like that. I'm sorry if I've said crazy too many times. It's just mind blowing to me. Imagine studying history of art when you live in Athens. Went last week, was really cool and one of the best designed and built museums I've seen. All right. The Acropolis Museum.
Massive. When you first walk in, you can see below you to where they took baths. It's very cool. We went on a holiday, so it was free entry, and there were so many people there, but it's such a big museum that you really don't feel crowded. Then if you go upstairs, the entire side of the building is windows, and you can see the Acropolis, and it's just a great view. Then if you go around the corner, you get to see more centaurs. Then if you go outside and downstairs, you can see where they took baths. It's actually crazy how they figured out to make hot tubs and cold tubs, and they had like the whole spa situation going. I would love to.
That's nuts that they built a museum around this. Gosh, I can't even imagine the like approvals and permits and everything that they would have to pull to get this accomplished. That's nuts.
After visiting the Acropolis in Greece, Athens, we took a stroll down the street and found our way to the museum. Thousands and thousands of years of history are stored in this museum for your viewing pleasure. When the original pieces at the Parthenon start to crumble, they bring it here for safety. They bring it here so everyone can check it out. Loads of information and loads of history. It's very scenic as there's lots of windows, lots of old school buildings right across the road as you check out, and surround yourself with so many amazing pieces. I particularly love the details on these coins. It was great to learn the history and learn a little bit more about the pieces, the mythology behind it all, which I find very exciting. And it's still unbelievable to see these huge, large-scale stones with such immaculate detail, considering their age. These pieces specifically were the ones that were around the tops. Now they've crumbled, and now we're at lunch. Daryl's got himself a Coke Zero, and I went ahead and checked out the Lego Parthenon. This was not something I expected, but it was very cool to see, and the detail that went into it.
That's pretty
We just
fun.
about checked out everything there was to see. I made my way over to the gift shop and saw all the unique pieces, and I was very surprised at what I found next. A Playmobil Greece limited edition. Also, the entire museum is built over some of the ancient ruins, so you can actually see through. Flags all over the place, of course. We found some very, very strange buskers on our way out. Looked over to our right, and quite literally a Spartan warrior cosplay, I assume. I'm not really too sure, but it was funny.
Greece is absolutely magical. Someone says, I agree. I do want to go here. Created 255 BC exactly in Greece. Seeing the Acropolis up close is truly breathtaking. Yeah, my gosh. To just be able to peek into that time period and be able to see what it was like. Insane. Okay, I was like, they don't just like let you walk straight through it, do they? There it is, the Parthenon. I would love to see this because I've seen the replica that we have here in Nashville. It's pretty cool. I mean, it's an exact replica of the Parthenon, and it's pretty eye-dropping, but being able to see the original is going to be something completely different.
Gogh Museum in Amsterdam. It was a huge dream of mine to come here because ever since I was little and seeing these artworks, I was just amazed. And that Doctor Who episode, if you're aware of it, was really, really wonderful. This is us actually shining our flashlights on the ceiling to bounce off the walls because the lights had gone on in the museum, which was a little bit rough. But I was just in complete and utter shock to be there. And this is, I cried over sunflowers because how would you not cry over this most beautiful, priceless piece of art? Like, I don't know. That painting means everything to me. It was really, really packed inside. So, beware of that. And I only got a couple items from the gift shop because they were a little bit pricey, but I still left with a smile on my face.
I cried when I went to Frida Kahlo house. Someone says I also cried. My friend turned around like, are you crying right now? Like, yeah, dude, he lived his whole life feeling fucking worthless. Now he's the most known painter ever. It all hit me. Yeah, I know. I think I've heard that story about Van Gogh before, right? He wasn't famous when he was actually painting. Wasn't until after he died.
Where do you think Van Gogh rates in the history of art?
Well, big question, but to me, Van Gogh is the finest painter of them all. Certainly the most popular great painter of all time. The most beloved. His command of colour, the most magnificent. He transformed the pain of his tormented life.
Is this separate? Is this like a different thing from the actual Van Gogh Museum? Let me know, you guys, if anyone's ever been there. I'm sure somebody has before. Tate Modern. What in the... Who's the guy that made A Nightmare Before Christmas? Tim Burton? This looks like Tim Burton art. Amir Lee. That's his or her name. I'm not too sure if that's male or female. When I saw this art installation, I was in awe. I stayed for hours just staring at each and every piece of it. When I left the museum, I stopped one last time, looked at it, and cried. A lot of people crying for the art. I mean, I kind of get it. I'm not going to cry, but I guess if you've been like into art your whole life, looking and researching and like obsessing over art, and you finally get to see something.
At Tate Modern, Dohosa invites us to walk the house through full-scale replicas of the places he's lived, sewn from colored fabric. Every seam is meticulously measured, stitched and rendered from memory and laser scans, turning personal architecture into shared experience. Selby began this work after moving from Seoul to the U.S., longing to carry home with him. His translucent spaces feel like memories you can walk through, fragile yet precise. The Genesis exhibition reveals how he uses thread to ask where we come from and how we stay connected.
This is cool, but I feel like this isn't going to last forever, you know? That's what kind of sucks. It's more of an experience than a piece of art. And I'm not trying to take anything away from this guy. It's cool. Really, really, really cool. But like in like 500 years, is this thing going to still be sitting somewhere? Like probably not. It would probably have been damaged by then. I just came back from London and saw this exhibition about a week ago. Went in on a blind whim, and boy, I was pleasantly surprised. The video at the very end was incredibly moving, and seeing the process and notes of his work really showed how beautifully obsessive this was. Yeah, this is like totally What is that? One of the most iconic sculptures ever. If you haven't seen Mamman yet, now's the time. Tate Modern. All right, guys, that was a lot of museum viewing. I think my favorite, gosh, I don't know. The Van Gogh one looks pretty fun. And then the natural history would be great to take my family to. I got to either hand it to the Vatican Museum or the Acropolis. I feel like I might be most interested in those two. Vatican Museum or Acropolis. Let me know what your favorite is, or if you have any recommendations for more. I know that there were other ones that we were going to include, but it would have been a 2-hour video. So smash that like button on the way out, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.